what's up you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Sit in my truck with me while I just talk, and I am drinking a Celsius currently so that I can get ready and go to the gym. But I wanted to just like sit down and talk, but I didn't want to do it in my house, so we're just gonna sit down and talk in my truck. I'm getting ready to go to the gym. Like I said, I don't know what I'm gonna hit yet. I think I'm gonna do either leg day, or I'm gonna do buys, tries, and chest. I don't know yet, but that is not why we are here. We are here because I have a dilemma. And my dilemma currently, I just need to talk about it, I guess. I really don't know what I'm doing with my life. Like, let's just start there. I am 23 years old. Let me give you a little bit of backstory. Okay, so when I was in high school, I wanted to study international relations and politics. That was my whole thing. I'd say from like 10th, 11th grade, I decided I wanted to work internationally. I wanted to be up, you know, in like political science, international relations. I wanted to study all of that kind of stuff. But now we know I have no interest in any of that. But in order to get to where I am now, let me explain to you kind of the backstory there. So that's what I wanted to study in high school. I took all of these academic classes that were like, I took all the AP classes, AP English, AP Government, all of that kind of stuff. And any electives I had were geared towards really similar, like it was all academic stuff. It was not really the most like creative stuff I did. I did photography and videography, and then I also did journalism, but journalism can also be tied into, I guess, like political kind of stuff, because just like journalists and you get the idea. So I didn't really take any creative classes like I had wanted to. I really wanted to get into like theater. I really wanted to maybe even join choir, even though I can't sing. Like I just wanted to do more creative stuff, but because the path I was choosing was such an academically driven like route, that I decided, you know, I need to have a really good GPA. I need to have a really good record of all of these classes that I'm taking. And so I didn't really do a lot of like creative stuff that I really wanted to, and I didn't really dive headfirst into the creative stuff like I had wanted to. Like I wish I had done more with photography and with videography. I wish I had done more of those classes like when I was starting from when I was like a freshman, but I waited until like my junior, senior year to really do those. And I don't know, it was just like a whole thing where I felt like I had to have this amazing, like, I don't know what to call it, this amazing like resume of classes for my school. I ended up getting into my dream school. My dream school was in England. It was Northumbria University was my dream school, and I got in. I had been talking to an admissions guy from there for several years, and like I was on track to go. I was on track to go to England. I was literally in the process of about to apply for my visa and to be able to study there, all of that stuff. I was on track for it, but I'm a 2020 senior, which means that COVID hit my senior year, and my senior year just took a tumble and just like absolutely was terrible. I ended up getting kicked out when I was like, I think I was like 17. I don't remember exactly how old I was, but I'm pretty sure it was my senior year. I ended up getting kicked out. My dad basically, I'll have to do a story time on like my childhood, because there's a lot of like just like drama and trauma and shit from my childhood growing up that just really like pushed me into the positions that I ended up being in. But basically, so I ended up getting kicked out also that year, and COVID hit, and I was living with my friend, and I didn't really know my life was in shambles. Like everything, so much was going on. I was working at Dairy Queen trying to like pay for myself and pay for all of the things that I needed to pay for, because I had to pay for everything myself. Like, my parents were not going to pay for anything, or at least my dad wasn't, and my mom was across the country, so it was really hard for her to do anything. And yeah, so all of that happened in the same year. It was just really, really chaotic, and my senior year absolutely sucked. It was terrible. I basically ended up telling my teachers, look, you can either pass me or not, but I don't have time to do any of this stuff anymore. I am dealing with my living situation being so crazy. I am dealing with a load of mental health problems. Like, I was dealing with so much BS that I just could not even take school seriously anymore. And it was really sad, because that was my dream, was to go to England and to study and to, you know, live out there. And that was the whole dream. I had it, and then I lost it. But long story short, all of that stuff happened, and then I was like, okay, life is crazy right now. Let me take a year off. Let me take a year off from everything, not even think about school. Let me just focus on working, saving money, figuring out all of that kind of stuff. And so I did, but in that year, I realized I hated politics. I did not want to study politics. I did not want to do any of that stuff that I had been working so hard for, and that I had been, you know, just aligning everything that I do in my life for. I decided to throw it all away, and I was like, I don't like this. I don't want to do this. And I feel like somewhere along the way, I realized before that I didn't want it, but I was so far into it that I was like, I can't turn back now. And that's kind of one of my regrets, is that I didn't have a backup plan. And so many of my teachers told me to apply to backup schools, but I was so adamant on, like, this is what I'm doing, this is what I want to do. I'm not even applying to backup schools, because this is my dream, and if it doesn't happen, then, like, you know. But in hindsight, I wish I had taken their advice and at least had some sort of backup plan, because I really did not. And then it just spiraled, and here I am today, and I'm living in Tennessee now. I was in Washington State. That's where all of this happened, and it just feels like life has just escaped my grasp, and I felt like I had such a good grasp on things, and like it just spiraled and snowballed, and everything just kind of came to this point where now I'm 23 years old. I'm sitting in my truck. I don't know what I'm doing with my life, and I don't know what I want to do with my life, and I'm just really, really confused. So yeah, I just want to kind of like rant and talk to my camera, talk to y'all about this, just because like I feel like I don't have anyone to talk to about these things nowadays, because I feel like now, yes, I do have friends, and I'm starting to make more friends, but the issue is that they were not there through all of my childhood shit. They were not there through all of my like early adulthood BS that I've been through, that explaining it all to someone who has no idea any part of that part of your life, they have no idea anything that happened or anything that went on and how it's affected you. I feel like it's really, really hard to explain it to new people, even though they have their own situations, and they could relate, but it's really hard. And a lot of my issue now that I have as well is the fact that my memory is really terrible, and it's slowly getting better, I'm noticing, but I just know that my memory has been absolutely terrible, and recalling events for me is really difficult unless I have like video or like photos to kind of like kickstart it. I don't really remember a whole lot. I don't remember a lot of my childhood. I don't remember a lot of my early adulthood, and it's a trauma response. It really is. And it's just like, it's really hard for me to connect with people nowadays, because it's really hard for me to connect with myself and find that connection within myself. So anyways, I don't know, I'm ranting now. That is just a whole nother thing. But basically what I want to talk about with all of that background, now that you kind of have a little bit of background there, as far as like why I am here now. So basically all of that stuff ended up happening. I ended up getting my job at FedEx, and I ended up working, and I just ended up accumulating so many different things, so many bills. I ended up getting a dog. I moved to Tennessee with my ex-boyfriend, who was really terrible and was definitely not someone I needed to be with, but that's a whole nother story time in itself. If you want a story time on why I moved to Tennessee and why I left that relationship, then please let me know. I'd be more than happy to do a story time on that. But basically, ended up moving to Tennessee, didn't have any friends, didn't talk to anyone, and I just had bills on bills on bills, and I just was accumulating debt, credit card debt, loans, all this other shit that I just didn't need. Like, it was just bullshit that I didn't need, and I was digging myself into a hole, and I had so many bills, I couldn't. The thought of me going to school never even crossed my mind anymore, because I was so, like, set on, like, I have to work. Like, I was working 2 jobs for the longest time. I had to work, 14 to 16 hours a day in order to survive, in order to pay all of my bills, in order to afford living. Like, it was absolutely terrible. And up until recently, until I met my fiance, I was stuck in that hole. Like, I was stuck there, and like, my fiance has truly helped me so much, and especially now that he has allowed me to be able to quit FedEx, that is why I'm in this position now, to where I'm in a position now where I'm not working. I'm doing photography, but that is such a slow roll right now, and it's like, I'm trying my best with it, but it is really not taking me where I want it to take it. It is not taking me where I want it to take me, if I think I said that right. So yeah, I'm not working, I don't have a job, I'm unemployed for the first time in my life. I've been working since I was 15 years old up until a few months ago. Like, it's new territory for me. It is so strange. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I am a person who needs schedule, who needs routine, who needs structure, and I don't have structure right now. I'm slowly developing a little bit more by having a routine of, okay, I go to bed at this time, I wake up at this time, I go to the gym. I have a few things like that are in my routine that kind of keep a structure for me. But when I was working, it was like a set structure, it was a set schedule I was able to follow, and so that aspect of it was really good for me. However, it was just the toll it was taking on my mental health, my physical health, all of that. It was absolutely terrible. And that's why I quit, was because I just couldn't do it anymore. I felt like I was gonna die. Like, if you look at old videos of me, like, you can see the bags under my eyes are huge. I look so, like, just dead, and the way I speak is so slowly, and so, like, you could just tell, like, depression was eating me up, and everything, my physical, my mental health, all of that. It was so just down the drain. Like, it was over, basically. But basically, yeah. So that's where I'm at. I don't know what I'm doing. I really want to, so I've always loved videography and cinematography. I've always loved that kind of stuff, and it's something I've always wanted to get into. I don't really know what I'm doing as far as videography and cinematography, because I have ideas in my head, but creating them and making them a reality is really difficult for me, because I have never done anything with that before. And so it's just like, it's new territory for me. Sorry, I need a drink. I'm talking too much. I don't even know if I'm going to edit this video. I think I'm just going to post it. Because who cares? Raw, unfiltered me. Yeah. Okay, so where was I? I love cinematography. I love videography. I love the idea of creating a story and storytelling through visual aspects. I was just talking to someone about this the other day, and I forget what it is called, but everyone sees things in their minds differently. I have to look up what it's called exactly, but basically, if I tell you to imagine an apple, can you take that? Can you make a like 3D, 4D apple, like one that you would see in real life? Can you create that in your brain? And can you change colors? Can you put a bug on it? Can you make it riding a bicycle? Can you imagine that vividly in your brain? Or is it like 2D? Is it like a drawing? What does that look like to you? The way that you imagine that is so different compared to the next person. So for me, like, I can take that, I can imagine an apple, I can turn it pink, put glitter on it, have it riding a bicycle, like as if it's like a realistic thing in front of me. But some people can't do that, and so part of the reason that I love like film and videography and cinematography so much is that you're able to storytell in a visual way that not everyone. So like, if I were to write a story, write a book, that would be so much more like different than if I were to create the storyline in a visual sort of aspect. If I were to take a short story, write a short story and let you read it, versus if I were to create that short story myself into a short film, a cinematic film, then you would be able to see, I would be able to create what it is the message that I am trying to portray. I feel that I could create that a lot better visually than if I were to describe it in a short story, because in a short story, it is up to interpretation. It is up to your imagination. It is up to the person reading it, their imagination on what they can create in their mind, versus a visual, like an actual visualization of it. I can create that and I can control what the other person is seeing. So it's less dependent on their imagination and more dependent on my imagination and my ability to execute that and make that a reality in front of their face. And I love that aspect of it. I love that it is something that you can create, that you can tell, you can control how it is portrayed to the viewer. Of course, there's going to be different ways that the person interprets it, but as far as the visual aspect of it, that is mostly left up to my control, and I'm able to tell the story how I want it to be told versus leave it up to your imagination, if that makes sense. So I don't know, I've just always really loved the idea of being able to do that, being able to create short stories to like provoke emotion and just new like thought and ideas from a visualization of a story or a retelling of a story or just whatever it may be. And I really want to do more with that, and I feel like back in high school, had I taken more video classes, I feel like I would be able to actually create the things that are in my mind right now, but I can't, and I don't have the tools or the knowledge to do it. And so I've been debating if I want to go back to school and do that, because so I live in Knoxville and UT is really close to me, so that would probably be the school I would go to, because I've looked into community colleges, but there's none close by that have classes that I could take. The closest is like an hour and a half away, and driving an hour and a half like multiple days a week would be really, really difficult to keep up with. So I'm thinking about, UT has a cinema studies class that I am thinking about doing, but it is a 4-year degree, so I would actually be going back to school for 4 years. I would be taking general classes as well, because you have to in order to take the cinema studies course. I don't know exactly all of the requirements or how it works. I have no idea how college works. All of that is so confusing to me, and sorry, all of that is so confusing to me, but I really, really would love to do something like that and just be creative again, and just be able to be creative again. And I feel like I just personally, so many people are probably just thinking, you know, why don't you YouTube how you do things like that, like watch YouTube videos or whatever. And I've tried, but it doesn't click for me. I need someone in front of me teaching me, and like a hands-on experience, like telling me what to do. giving me a project to do, giving me, you know, a step-by-step like thing to do in order to like provoke my creativity, because I feel like if I don't have that, I just get lost. I get lost in the sauce and I don't know what I'm doing. So I don't know. I feel like I would really benefit from going back to school. I feel like I'm terrified to go back to school because it has been so long and I haven't even wrote with a pencil in so long, like on paper or whatever. And so I don't know. I'm really thinking about it. I've been talking to my fiance about it and he's on board with it. He said, you know, he said if it's what I really want to do, like he is 100% supportive of it, and I love that. And I'm truly so blessed to have someone who is willing to support me in that aspect, who is willing to support me no matter what it is that I want to do, as long as it's what I want to do. And so I feel like I'm in a really good position right now, so where I'm not working. I don't have to worry about any of that. I am being provided for, I am being taken care of, and right now it is literally just navigating and figuring out who I am, what it is that I want out of life, what it is that I want to do with my life. And I have a partner who supports me 100% and who encourages me to explore new things. And so I feel like I'm in a really good position right now. I don't know what door to walk through. I feel like there are so many doors that I want to walk through or think I want to walk through, but I just don't know what the right one is, and I'm afraid of making the wrong choice. So I don't know. That is just my rant for today. Basically, should I go back to school? The other idea would be if I did real estate, but I'm just not as passionate about that. Like, I can't sit there and talk about real estate the way I can sit there and talk about how much I love film and video and creating stories and all of that. And so, I don't know, I feel like film is the way for me to go. I don't know exactly what I want to do with it. Do I want to be a producer? Do I want to, you know, direct movies? Do I want to create movies? I don't know. I just want to create. I want to storytell. I want to find a path through that, through if I go back to school, like if I do the cinema studies thing and take those classes and take those film classes. I feel that that will help me narrow it down, like an actual, like a title of a career path of exactly what it is that I want. But right now everything's just so up in the air because I feel like I've just had my head down for so long and I've been focused on working, and I've been a machine. I've been a robot, just working, going in, clocking in every day, coming home and sleeping, and that being my life for so long that I'm finally able to like look up and see the world around me, and there's so much and it is overstimulating and overwhelming, and I don't know exactly what it is that I'm meant to be or who I'm meant to be or what it is I'm meant to do. And so I'm just figuring all of that out. So if you can relate to this, please leave a comment down below, and please let me know what, like, just if you relate to this in any way, please let me know. I'm 23 years old, I'm trying to figure life out, and yeah, I'm sitting in my truck at 23 in front of the house that I own. I mean, I'm doing something right. In front of a house that I own, in my truck. I love my truck so much. About to go to the gym, and with a giant fucking rock on my finger, so I can't complain too much. But there's definitely been a lot of bullshit that has happened in my life that has gotten me to here. So it's like it's a blessing and a curse, because on the one hand, all of these things have got me to this amazing position that I'm in right now. But all of these things have also gotten me to the position I'm in right now, if that makes sense. So, anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, or if you relate, leave a comment down below. Leave a like, subscribe to my channel, and I will see y'all in the next one.